Hello students, in this video let us discuss the optical isomerism of compounds without chiral carbon. Okay, so this is the last video of the optical isomerism. In next video I will start the conformational isomerism. Okay, yeah. So here, what are the conditions to exhibit the optical isomerism? Okay, so initially we are saying that chiral carbon. Okay, and second condition is the compound must not possess planar symmetry, central symmetry and alternative axis of symmetry. If any compound with the planar symmetry or central symmetry is optically inactive, even the compound having chiral carbons. Okay, and you know that there is a tartaric acid. Okay, this is a tartaric acid. In this tartaric acid, this is a one chiral carbon and this is another one chiral carbon. So this tartaric acid even has two chiral carbons. It is optically inactive. Okay, it is optically inactive compound. Okay, it is optically inactive because of the planar symmetry. This molecule cut into two equal halves. Those two equal halves are the mirror images. Okay, this molecule cut into two equal halves. Those two equal halves are the mirror images. That means here half of the rotation is cancelled by the another half. For suppose here plus 10 degrees, here minus 10 degrees. So total optical rotation is 0 for this molecule. So even if it has a chiral carbon, it is optically inactive molecule because of the planar symmetry. So here the main condition, the prime condition is the molecule must not possess planar symmetry and central symmetry. If any molecule, even if it has a chiral carbon, possess planar symmetry, central symmetry, that is optically inactive molecule. Okay, of course these are called as the meso compounds. Optically inactive compounds, even they have chiral carbon, are called as a meso compounds. Okay, so chiral carbon is not a necessary condition. Okay, chiral carbon is not a necessary condition. So the main condition is the molecule must not possess planar symmetry and central symmetry. So now here let us discuss some molecules are optically active without chiral carbon, and those molecules not possess planar symmetry and central symmetry. Okay, such type of molecules, the first one is alene derivatives. Okay, alene derivatives. So first of all here let us know what is the alene actually. Okay, this is a alene molecule. C double bond C, here a hydrogen and here this is a hydrogen. Okay, this is an alene molecule actually. You know that if there is a double bonded carbon, that is planar. If there is a double bonded carbon, that is planar. That means here sp2 carbon. Of course if it is a sp carbon, that is the linear. Here in this one, this double bonded carbon sp2, here 2 pi bonds, 2 sigma bonds, sp carbon, this is sp2. Okay, so this compound has only sp and sp2 carbon, so it must be planar. Okay, it must be planar, but this compound is a non-planar compound. All atoms are not in the same plane. Okay, all atoms not in the same plane. For suppose you can see here in this case sp2. Okay, here sp2. sp2 means here remaining 1 p orbital. sp means here remaining 2 p orbital. Okay, this carbon should form a 2 pi bonds. So here that carbon must have the two unhybridized orbitals. Okay, that means here 2 p orbitals. Now sp2, so remaining 1 p orbital. Here carbon hydrogen bond, this is the carbon hydrogen bond. That means here these are the sigma sp2 s bond. Also sigma sp2 s bond. Okay, now this sigma bond is a sigma sp2 sp. This one also same, sp2 sp. Now here for the formation of the first pi bond, these two are parallel. But if these two are not parallel to form a pi bond, okay, that means here these two p orbitals are parallel and this is the second p orbital, this is the one p orbital on the third carbon. These two are parallel. So the pi bond formation is difficult. Okay, pi bond formation is difficult. So that's why here to form a pi bond, already here on this side the pp overlapping taking place. So about this bond rotation is difficult. Okay. Now here these two are perpendicular, so to form a pi bond, that means here this carbon-carbon bond rotated like this. That means here these two p orbitals coming now to the those two each other are parallel. Okay. So then these two each other are parallel. So there is a pp overlapping, lateral overlapping is possible. Then pi bond formation taking place. Okay. A CC bond rotation. CC bond rotation. So that implies a carbon here is carbon, double bond here, double bond. Now here these two bonds on the plane, during the rotation, one bond coming to the plane, one bond going out of the plane. So that means here that totally non-planar molecule. Okay, that is a non-planar molecule. Now here see this one, CH3, C here hydrogen, double bond here hydrogen, this is a CH3. Okay, that is one molecule. Now here I am taking its mirror image, double bond, C double bond, here CH3 hydrogen, and this is a methyl and the hydrogen. Now these two are the mirror images and not superimposable. Okay, those two are the mirror images, not superimposable. You can see here in this case. Okay, yeah. This is this one. Yeah. So here in this one actually here, this is a methyl, this is a hydrogen. This is a yeah. Here you see like this. Yeah, just right. Yeah. Yeah, see this one. Now here, this is a methyl on the plane, this hydrogen on the plane. Now here this methyl above the plane, this hydrogen below the plane. Okay, this is the structure of the allene actually. Okay, the structure of the allene. Okay, these two bonds on the plane, this one bond above the plane, this one below the plane. Now here this one cannot be cut into two equal also. This one cannot be cut into two equal also. So here its mirror image like this. Okay, its mirror image like this. Now here these two mirror images are not superimposable. These two mirror images are the not superimposable. Okay, this is the allene structure. These two on the plane, one above the plane, one below the plane. Okay, you can see in this case. Okay, that's it. So here the allene system is optically active. That means here this system is suitable to exhibit the optical isomerism. Okay, so first suppose it is a D form, then it is a L form. Okay, that's it. Now first suppose see this one, CH3 here carbon hydrogen, double bond here, double bond here below the plane hydrogen, above the plane hydrogen. Now this is an inactive molecule. This is inactive molecule. So because there is a plane of symmetry. Okay, there is a plane of symmetry. Here these are hydrogen, those two are the similar. Those two are the similar. Okay, here are hydrogen, those two are the similar. So this molecule cut into two equal. For suppose you see this one. Okay, here hydrogen, this is a hydrogen. Let's say it is a hydrogen, it is a hydrogen. Now here a hydrogen methyl. So now here the imaginary plane is passing through this hydrogen and methyl and cutting to two equal. Okay, this hydrogen, this is the hydrogen. Two parts. Okay, this one cut into two parts. This is methyl, hydrogen. Now methyl and hydrogen are coming into the imaginary plane. Okay, and this side hydrogen, that side hydrogen. So totally the molecule cut into two equal. Whenever these two are different, first suppose it is a hydrogen, it is a methyl, cannot be cut into two equal. Okay, cannot be cut into two equal. But whenever these two are same, that can be cut into two equal. Now these groups are not similar, okay, but these two groups are coming into the imaginary plane. Okay, this is a plane, okay, and cut into two equal. Okay, when these two are similar. So here, whenever this carbon having similar atoms, this is optically inactive molecule. Okay, this is optically inactive molecule. That's simple. Okay, it's optically active molecule. Okay. Now here, next, see this one. There is an allene derivative. Okay, allene derivative. You see this one, CH3CH, double bond C, double bond CH, CH, CH3, this one CH. Now suppose it is an allyl system, about this one, two isomers possible, like about the one chiral carbon, two isomers possible. Now here, about this one, two isomers are possible. So it is a one stereogenic center, this chiral carbon also one stereogenic center. So total stereoisomers for this compound, 2 power of 2 equals to 4. Total stereoisomers for this compound, 2 power of 2, 4. Okay, that's it. Now here, next, second case, spiro compound. Okay, na? Spiro compound. Spiro compound means here, for suppose, one common carbon atom. Okay, this is a spiro carbon. This is a spiro carbon. This spiro carbon is a sp3. Yeah? This spiro carbon is a sp3. sp3 means here, you know that two bonds on the plane, one bond below the plane, one bond below the plane, one bond above the plane. For suppose these two rings are connected like this. Okay, now these two bonds on the plane, now this bond must be below the plane and this bond must be above the plane. Okay, that means these two rings are perpendicular to each other. These two rings are perpendicular to each other. Now here see this one. Okay, here these two rings are perpendicular to each other. Now on this carbon actually here this ring like this. Okay, this ring on the plane, this ring, okay, perpendicular to each one, this one. So whenever this ring is perpendicular to the plane, now here on this sp3 carbon, okay, on this sp3 carbon, groups on the same plane, on the plane, groups on the plane. Okay. Now here this ring on the plane, this ring on the plane. Now here at this sp3 carbon, one bond above the plane, one bond below the plane. That means here, see this one, hydrogen, this one here. Okay. Now see this one. Here there is no plane of symmetry because these two are perpendicular. These two are the perpendicular rings. Okay. On this one, chlorine above the plane, hydrogen below the plane. Okay. That's it. This one. Just take like this. Yeah, these two rings are perpendicular. On this one, hydrogen on the plane, chlorine on the plane. Now here, this ring on the plane, here chlorine above the plane, hydrogen below the plane. Okay? That means that there is no plane of symmetry. That molecule cannot be cut into two equal halves. This is optically active molecule. Okay, it is a D form and mirror image L form. Mirror image L form. Okay? That's it. Now here, for suppose, simply, for suppose see here the chlorine, here chlorine. Now hydrogen, this one chlorine. Now here this is optically inactive molecule. This is optically inactive molecule because here chlorine. So here this one cut into two equal halves. There is a plane of symmetry. There is a plane of symmetry. Okay, that means here on the one ring here, okay, on the one ring, here chlorine and chlorine. This is the one ring. On the plane ring, this is the perpendicular ring. Okay, but here in this case chlorine and chlorine. Okay. Now here, so the imaginary plane is passing through this one. Okay. So here this one cut into two equal halves. So our plane is passing through these hydrogen chlorine and this one cut into equal halves. Okay. So spiro compound. Okay. Of course here also this is see this one cyclic ring. Here a hydrogen, this is a chlorine. Here a hydrogen, this is a chlorine. This is optically active. Again these two rings are perpendicular. On this carbon hydrogen chlorine, on this carbon hydrogen chlorine, different atoms. Okay, different groups, optically active. Okay, Here in this case there is a plane of symmetry. Here imaginary plane is passing through this hydrogen chlorine. Hydrogen below the plane, chlorine above the plane, like this. So imaginary plane is passing through, this is the hydrogen chlorine, and here at this point these two are cut into equal half. Okay. Here in this case hydrogen atom cut into equal half and chlorine atom cut into equal half. But at this point these two parts are cut into two equal half. Okay, that's spiro compound. And next another one, cycloalkylidins. Cycloalkylidins. For suppose, see this one. Okay, initially here, this is a hydrogen, this is a chlorine. All carbon atoms in the same plane. All carbon atoms in the same plane. Okay, this cyclic ring attached to the double bond carbon, all atoms in the cyclic ring. Now here it is sp3 carbon, so here hydrogen below the plane, here hydrogen above the plane. So this is an active form. This is optically active. It's mirror image. Now hydrogen, C, double bond, here Cl. Okay, hydrogen, this is Cl. Okay. Now these two are not superimposable. These are the mirror images, not superimposable. So optically active. If it is a dextro form, it is a LEO. You see this one, all carbon atoms in the same plane. But at this point here, the chlorine above the plane, hydrogen below the plane. Now here, see in this case, if similar atoms are there at either carbon, so here Cl, this one Cl, hydrogen, this is Cl. So this chlorine above the plane, this hydrogen below the plane. So a plane is passing through these two atoms. And at this point it is cut into two equal halves. So plane of symmetry, so optically inactive molecule. Okay? At either point, for suppose, you see this one, double bond here, hydrogen, this is a chlorine. So Cl and Cl. Here in this case here, plane is passing through these hydrogen, chlorine and cyclic ring, and this one cut into two equal halves. Okay? The plane, imaginary plane is passing through these atoms. Hydrogen cut into two equal halves, here chlorine cut into two equal halves, and at this point these two divided into two parts. Okay? That's it. So it is optically inactive molecule. Okay? Yeah. Cycloalkylidins. And next year, finally, another one system. That is a biphenyl. Okay, that is a biphenyl. Yeah. You see this one. These two biphenyls are planar. Okay. So this, yeah. Okay, these two are planar. Okay. These two rings are present in the same plane. Now, whenever introducing bulkier orthosubstituents, for suppose NO2 and this is a bromine, both are larger. Okay. Now this is NO2 and bromine. So repel each other, more repulsion. Okay. Now here in this case, these two rings are not present in the same plane. Okay. For suppose this here this is a bromine or NO2. Now repel each other. Then here to get the stability, these two are rotated like this. That means these two are exist perpendicular each other. Okay. Then here there is no plane of symmetry and it is a non-superimposable with its mirror image. Okay. See this one? Two rings are perpendicular. This one NO2, this one bromine. Okay, here like this. These two rings are perpendicular. Here NO2, here bromine. That's it. Okay. Now here it is a non-superimposable with its mirror image. Okay, non-superimposable with its mirror image. Okay, it is a D form, it is a L form. Okay, that's it. So here this bisphenol system also one stereogenic center to produce the two isomers like one chiral carbon. Okay, now here see this one. If similar groups are there, for suppose bromine, here NO2, here in this case bromine, here bromine. So this is an inactive molecule. This is an inactive molecule. Because in this case it is a one ring having a bromine and NO2, and this is another ring having two bromine atoms. So imaginary plane is passing through this ring and this ring cut into two equal. Okay. So in this imaginary plane, this bromine cut into two equals, this NO2 cut into two equals, but this ring cut into two equals. So inactive. Okay, this one is a inactive. For suppose, see this one. Here this is the NO2, this is SO3H. Okay, bulky group should be present, not fluorine. Okay, not smaller groups. Okay, like OH, fluorine. Those are very smaller groups. That means here, whenever fluorine and OH and chlorine are present, these two are not exist in a non-planar shape. Okay, whenever bulky groups are there, those are exist in a perpendicular shape. Okay. Now here in this case Br and this Br. Now it is a chlorine, just chlorine. Of course, these two are bulky. All are the bulky, and this one exists in a non-planar shape. Here in this case here, whenever similar groups are there, optically inactive, we are saying. But in this case here, one chlorine is there, so this one cannot be cut into two equals because here chlorine, here hydrogen. So this is an optically active molecule. This is optically active molecule. That means those two are fixed in a perpendicular shape. There is no free rotation about this bond. There is no free rotation about this bond. The optical isomerism is due to restricted rotation. Okay, it is due to restricted rotation. That's why here the isomerism, the optical isomerism in biphenols is called as the atrope isomerism. Okay, atrope isomerism, restricted rotation. Due to restricted rotation, optical isomerism in biphenols is called as the atrope isomerism. Okay, so these are the compounds in which there is no chiral carbon but optically active. Okay, that's it. Yeah, next for suppose paracyclopanes. Paracyclopanes. The paracyclopanes means here this is a benzene ring. Okay, this is also benzene ring. Okay, yeah. That means here these two rings are like this. Okay, these two rings are present like this. Okay. Now here introducing one group COOH. Now there is no symmetry. A symmetry is not possible for this one. Okay, we cannot cut into like this. We cannot cut into like this. This one has no plane of symmetry. So optically active molecule. For suppose this is another paracyclopane. This is another paracyclopane. Here COOH. Now it is a COOH. Now it can be cut into two equals. Okay, this is the ring, and two COH groups are there. So it can be cut into two equals. This is optically inactive molecule. Okay, optically inactive molecule. Okay. Yeah. And next another one simple example additionally. Here see this one. This is the oxygen. Okay, this is also optically active molecule. These two rings are perpendicular. This one cannot be cut into two equals. Here there is oxygen, here there is oxygen. Or here there is oxygen. Now cannot be cut into two equals. Okay, these two rings are perpendicular, so optically active. Okay, first suppose see this one, oxygen, here oxygen, oxygen. Now this one. This is the inactive because here there is a symmetry. Here two oxygens are there, oxygen, oxygen. On this ring only one oxygen. Now imaginary plane is passing through this ring and this ring cut into two equal. Here oxygen, here oxygen. Okay, so inactive molecule. So these are the compounds optically active, exhibit optical isomerism even without chiral carbon. Okay. Yeah. So next here, finally, here chiral carbon means here the carbon which has different groups and sp3 hybridized. Now here other than carbon, some atoms also acting as a chiral center. Okay. For suppose here in this case silicon, CH3, this one C2H5. First suppose is a phenyl, it is a C3H7. It is a chiral center, no? Because here sp3 hybridized silicon and 4 different groups, so that is optically active. Okay, now here tin compounds are also optically active. Okay, tin compounds are also optically active. C2H5 here, C3H7. Okay. Tin compounds are also optically active with 4 different groups. Now next sulfur, S double bond O, here in this case CH3, this one C2H5 and this one is a lone pair. Now here this one sp3 hybridized pyramidal and chiral center, 4 different groups are there. It is also chiral center. Now see this one S double bond O, C3 sorry CH3, this one C2H5, it's not a chiral center. It's not a chiral center because both are the oxygen symbol, not chiral center. For suppose C2H5, S double bond O, here double bond O, here CH3, here 16, here 18, then it is a chiral center. Isotopically different chiral center. Okay? And next here, arsenic compounds are also optically active. Arsenic compounds, that means here, double bond O, this one CH3, this one C2H5, here C3H7. These compounds also optically active. Next here, arsenic compound, here lone pair, this one CH3, this one C2H5, here C3H7. They are also optically active. Now here coming to the phosphorus. Here CH3, this one C2H5, this one C3H7. It is a chiral center. sp3 hybridization, different groups, and the molecule is not planar. Okay, na? That's it. And next here coming to the nitrogen compound. So your nitrogen, this one CH3, this one C2H5, C3H7. Pyramidal and sp3 and different groups are there. So it must be optically active. Yes, these are all optically active compounds because there is a chiral center. Of course, it is also chiral center, but it is optically inactive. Okay, amine compounds are the optically inactive compounds. Why these are optically inactive compounds? Because pyramidal inversion. Because of the pyramidal inversion. CH3 and C2H5 and C3H7 like this. Okay. Here CH3, here C2H5 and C3H7. Now here this pyramidal structure, let us say D form, dextro form, now it is levo form. Dextro form and levo form. Okay. Now here these dextro levo forms are exist in equilibrium at room temperature. That means easily interconvertible. So this dextro form, levo form we cannot separate. These are not the resolvable. Okay, these are not the resolvable. This cannot be separated. Those two are exist in equilibrium. That's why here amine compounds are optically inactive. Even the nitrogen bonding with a different group. Okay, because of the pyramidal inversion. Okay, it is a pyramidal inversion. Pyramidal or nitrogen or amine inversion. Okay, amine inversion. Okay, that's it. In this conversion, Okay, one pyramidal form to other pyramidal form conversion. Here, that there is a one transition state. In this transition state, the nitrogen hybridization is sp2. That means it is a planar. So that means here these two electrons are present in a p orbital, pure p orbital. Okay, but here d form sp3 pyramidal, here sp3 pyramidal. But one pyramidal form, one right hand form is converted to left hand form through the planar transition state. In this transition state, nitrogen is sp2 hybridized. Nitrogen is sp2 hybridized. That lone pair present in a p orbital. Now here, coming to the salt, that means here CH3, this one C2H5, this one C2H5, here C3H7, and this is for suppose phenyl. This is quaternary ammonium salt, this is quaternary salt. Now here this nitrogen sp3 hybridization and 4 different groups, tetrahedral of course, like carbon it is a tetrahedral and 4 are the different groups. Now there is no lone pair to occur pyramidal inversion. Okay, to see the pyramidal inversion there is no lone pair of electrons. It is completely salt. It is optically active molecule. But amines are optically inactive because of the pyramidal inversion due to conversion of right hand form to left hand form to right hand form through the planar transition state. Okay, that's it. sp3 tetrahedral and this is the active. Quaternary ammonium salts are optically active. Okay, and next cyclic amines are also optically active. First suppose see this one. Here CH3, here there is a lone pair. This is optically active. It is a chiral center. This is optically active molecule because it is a cyclic form. It is a closed chain. Okay, it is a closed chain. So this type of pyramidal inversion is not possible. Okay, it is a closed chain, cyclic ring. Pyramidal inversion is not possible. Here pyramidal inversion is only occurred in case of the acyclic compound. So amines are optically inactive, but cyclic amines are optically active. Quaternary ammonium salts are optically active. Okay, that's it. Here no lone pair. Here cyclic ring, even there is a lone pair, conversion is not possible because there is a closed chain. Okay, that's it. And here similarly, carbanion also optically inactive. Okay, carbanion also inactive. This is the pyramidal sp3 and inactive due to this type of interconversion, carbanion. Okay, that is totally about the optical isomerism. In next video, I will discuss about the conformational isomerism. Thank you for watching.